everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about collagen. I'm sure most of you that are into your health have definitely been hearing about collagen the last few years. There's many collagen supplements on the market, some probably not so good for you, and others that are better, which is usually the case in the supplement industry. I am definitely not an expert, but I do know a lot. I've been in the industry for way too long. Actually, probably shouldn't say that because it's my jam and it's what I like to learn about and have been for over 25 years now. So this is something that I definitely would not have wanted to supplement into my diet until I really started noticing what aging does to the body. And I think many of us want to keep young as long as possible, because when you hit a certain age, boy, I tell you, you can feel it and others can see it and you can see it probably even more than others can see it. And it's, the reason I'm talking about this supplement, one of the first supplements that I'm going to be talking about of many, is that you really can notice a difference when you start losing collagen in the body, which happens, everyone's different, but I'm telling you, it can happen as early as 40 years old, which if you're only 30, 40 is going to come before you know it. And research shows that collagen actually starts depleting from the body after age 30. And so by the time you're 40, a lot of us start feeling it. I really started noticing a difference when I was close to 45. Now I'm 50. And so in the last 5 years, I've noticed my body aging tremendously, which is why I started really respecting collagen support, learning more about collagen and the different aspects of it and what it does and how to consume the best quality collagen, the most organic collagen sources, and did a little research of my own. And now I wanted to share it with you all. So this podcast is about collagen support, and let's get started. So we're talking about why everyone needs collagen support in our bodies for optimal health. 30% of the protein in the body is actually made of collagen. So, like I said, after age 30, our collagen starts to decline, and every decade it declines even more and more, which is why we get wrinkles, right? Yes. And some of that, we really can't prevent. We can't just, make our bodies not have wrinkles ever. But we can do things that help us not to get as wrinkly, help us to stay youthful looking. There's definitely things we can do by consuming antioxidants, which help with our cells to stay healthier, and also supplementing with collagen. So let's talk about how we do this. First, let's talk about why collagen, what it is, what it does, and then how we can supplement the best possible way with the purest collagen that we can find. So collagen is essential for the elasticity of our skin, and it's essential to the entirety of our structural system. Our structural system, we have different systems in the body, right? The structural being one of them, maintains the tissue integrity and is needed for repair of our soft tissue, muscles, and our connective tissues. Collagen provides the structural support and the strength to all of our tissues in our bodies, like our skin, bones, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, and it even gives us the elasticity and maintains the integrity that we need for this system. So, as it sounds, yes, it is very, very important. Collagen is very rich in some of the most essential amino acids, especially glycine. I don't know if you've all heard of glycine, but if you look it up, you'll see that it has a wide array of uses. And this is the second most abundant amino acid. So that makes sense that why collagen would be so vital for health when it's so rich in this amino acid glycine. Glycine has so many beneficial uses in the body, including, but probably not limited to, promoting digestive and cognitive health, supporting circulation and vascular health. Vascular meaning having to do with your blood. So if you have any bleeding issues, any blood issues, it's going to support that. It also supports the production of glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant in the body that is made by your liver. And yes, as we get older, it is harder for the liver to produce as much glutathione. And so a lot of people are supplementing with that because it is the master antioxidant that does so many things and also helps us to stay young. Glycine has also been shown to improve better sleep. So that is very, very important since most of us are needing deeper, better sleep. And I even had gotten a supplement of glycine that I take now before bed with my magnesium. And there's actually magnesium supplements out there too, I think, that have glycine combined within it for sleep. Very, very crucial as sleep helps us with everything in our day to day, and also helps us stay younger as when we're sleeping. So many cells are, repairing, and our body is detoxing and doing a lot of really vital things when we sleep. So let's talk about collagen and how important it is for repairing the structural systems in our body, like the connective tissue. Connective tissue weakens as we age, which is why, when people fall, they can get injured easier when we're older, making injuries more problematic as there is already little blood supply in these tissues. Collagen is also very rich in amino acids proline and alanine, which are building blocks within the matrix of the connective tissue. Our bodies use amino acids from collagen to nourish stressed areas within and where it's needed most. I'm going to be referring to collagen or gelatin because I will describe more of, how they're different. They're not very different, but they are, if you just think of kind of the same, okay? And they have slight differences. So what are the differences between collagen, gelatin, and red meat? Eating only red meat or muscle meats from animals such as cow or chicken doesn't provide enough aminos for building and maintaining strong connective tissue. This is what I found out. Thus, collagen or gelatin contains vastly more of the important key aminos for rebuilding your connective tissue over beef. These aminos that are in collagen are also anti-inflammatory and have other healing properties, while the aminos that are in red meat actually induce inflammation if eaten in high amounts or on a regular basis. This type of animal protein has been correlated with reduced longevity, which is probably not new news to a lot of you health conscious ones out there. Rather, collagen and gelatin are low in these types of branched chain amino acids like cysteine, tryptophan, histidine, and methionine that are found in red meat. Cysteine and tryptophan are released in large amounts when we get stressed, which has anti-metabolic effects on the body, while other more beneficial aminos like glycine Are nerve modifiers cell protective and reduce stress? So what exactly is gelatin? Gelatin is basically just cooked collagen. And they both help protect our cells from stress in many ways. There are many degenerative diseases that can be healed by consuming gelatin-rich foods. Reducing red meat consumption will help us feel better if we are struggling with inflammatory disease, which most illness or degenerative diseases stem from some type of inflammation in the body. I know many of us must be wondering, how healthy are our cells in our bodies? How do we know how healthy the cells are in our bodies? I wish, this was easier information for us all to find out, because I think most of us understand that there are cells in our bodies that are, everywhere trying to keep us healthy. And, if they're not healthy, we're not going to be healthy. And it's very complex, right? I was honored and what's the word I want to use? Privileged, per se, to be able to go to a well-renowned blood doctor, we called him, Dr. Beagleson, that was in the town I was living in many years ago. And he was quite expensive. This day and age, he'd be way more expensive. And I think when you're in a bigger city, certain types of specialists can be a lot more expensive than in smaller towns. So I was in a small town, let's say at the time. And it's still a small town, but he is retired and actually had to retire earlier than he would have wanted to. Although he was in his 80s at the time, still practicing because he loved what he did and he was helping many people. I won't go into why he ended up retiring, but let's just say I was able to see from my own eyes my cells, because he would take a little bit of blood and he'd put it on a microscope and then let his patients see the activity of their cells. And he was very surprised because at the time, I seemed so healthy and I was probably in my mid 30s, that my cells were, some of them seemed kind of healthy and happy, but some of them were just not moving at all, barely moving. And it looked like maybe I was much older than I was, or I wasn't as healthy as he thought I was, just from, seeing the outside of how I appeared. It wasn't that much of a surprise to me because I knew how, I felt sometimes, and I knew how unhealthy I was as a child, which is what got me into, wanting to learn more about health into my 20s and not feel so crappy anymore. And this was, really interesting to see. So we know that our cells help keep us healthy. They give us energy. And if we're not feeling energy, we're not feeling optimal health, our cells might be suffering in some way. So back to science and research. According to one biologist specializing in the physiology of the body, cellular responses are dependent on the state of the cells, which are reliant on what nutrient, metabolites, hormones, and neurotransmitters they have access to. Also, studied findings show that the nutritional requirements for protein were done mostly for the ag industry, designed to identify the cheapest way to achieve maximum growth in the shortest time possible. No surprise, right? So how is this sustainably applicable for humans? The meat industry typically is forcing young animals to eat polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs, like linoleic acid, which is basically the omega-6 family, to produce rapid weight gain. Some aminos were claimed to be essential, quote unquote, based upon their contribution to animal growth, only ignoring factors of what's best for longevity, brain development, and optimal health. Increased red meat consumption isn't doing us any health favors, especially without consuming connective tissue rich collagen and gelatin. So let's go over these amino acids again. Red meat contains higher amounts of tryptophan and cysteine, which inhibits thyroid function and mitochondrial energy production, thus increasing stress in the body. Histidine is a precursor to inflammatory agent histamine. So, need I say more? We all know that if histamine levels go up in the body, then we have allergic reactions. So, histidine is also found in red meat in higher amounts. So, we want to balance out the meat we're eating, including collagen and gelatin. Gelatin is the protein that has no tryptophan and has lower amounts of cysteine, methionine, and histidine. Consuming is the easiest way to restrict these aminos that are also associated with aging. As collagen breaks down, beneficial amino acids like glycine are released that promote wound healing and suppress tumor growth. Glycine also inhibits new blood cell growth, a process known as angiogenesis, which is what causes cancer to grow. Angiogenesis inhibitors are used in the treatment of cancer. Studies have shown protective activity in liver cancers and melanoma. Traditional indigenous ways of eating animal proteins is by far best, as you would be consuming all parts of the animal in its wholeness. Sound familiar? Here we go again, whole foods diet. We need the gelatin and collagen parts. And if this grosses you out, as it honestly does me still, then maybe it's time to try supplement form. That's clean and pure, or even better, make or buy local bone broth, which includes cartilage, bone, and skin, which has the gelatin intact. This is truly whole food balance eating in the realm of obtaining certain amino acids supporting all sorts of biological processes, including the remarkable growth of tissues and organs. Eating only muscle meats creates imbalance, producing stress in the body similar to when cortisol is released, causing our own muscles to break down. Serotonin is increased by excess tryptophan. Also, serotonin stimulates our cortisol levels, while tryptophan with excess cysteine has been shown to suppress thyroid function. Tryptophan and cysteine are both found in muscle meats in higher amounts, and any damages can be corrected by a generous supply of glycine, which is found in collagen. I hope this is making sense. I'm trying to be clear and kind of go round and round on all of this. It's a little complex, and it reminds me of when I worked in a supplement department at a wellness store, and customers come in, they hear about things, they a lot of times just word of mouth, they might hear something here or there, or maybe they read a little blurb on a supplement and that it's good for something, but most people don't have time to do their own research and really dig deep into how things work in the body. But going to a trusted source, they, feel like they can get what they need, and hopefully, fingers crossed that it works. Quality is very important to most of us. And so high quality supplements, used to be much harder to find. And we're so blessed in this day and age that most supplements we can find in a high quality form. Not always cheap, depending on what it is, but cheap meaning, low cost. Now, this supplement that I'm discussing, supplementing with collagen, is actually quite affordable. And we'll talk about that more at the end of this podcast. I'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll go into the different types of collagen and sources. So any damages, like we talked about, of these excess aminos that are in muscle meats can be balanced out if we're eating the whole form of the animal or supplementing with collagen so that we're getting the other beneficial amino acids like glycine, which I always mention glycine because it's just good for so many things. So that's kind of like the top, and it's the second most, remember, it's the second most abundant in the body that we need out of our amino acids. So some types of cellular damage can be prevented by eating gelatin, which contains glycine, also proline and alanine. Gelatin has been used successfully for over a century to treat diabetes. This is because the glycine has inhibiting action on lipolysis, lipo meaning fat, so making the insulin more effective, helping prevent hyperglycemia. Hence, gelatin-rich diet can also lower triglycerides in the blood. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm just giving a brief description here. Glycine definitely is a key component of collagen with its wide range of therapeutic benefits, successfully treating bleeding disorders, recovery from injury and surgery, nerve support, muscle spasms, and helping diseases like MS, epilepsy, and stroke, aiding in a deeper sleep as well. Many inflammatory conditions related in and around the joints, tissues, and cartilage can be healed by slow release of gelatin's repair, feeding these areas that directly need such collagen. It's even possible to get immediate relief from some pain resembling from anti-inflammatory effects of the cortisol or aspirin would have. Glycine protects against fibrosis in the body. Okay, so how ironic is it that we've been fed the idea that aminos are the simple building blocks for tissues, right? When it's muscle protein without the collagen intact that is in fact exacerbating the muscle diseases. I could go on, but my point I'm trying to share with you all is the importance of incorporating collagen gelatin into your diet. Now, again, this is something as I speak, it's kind of a little odd to me just because I was a vegetarian for over 20 years. I still rarely eat meat, but I am trying to supplement with collagen, mainly by pure grass-fed organic bone broth. I feel like that is really the best way. And if you can get that, at your local natural food store, that's probably made locally within 100 miles of where you live, from animals that are grass-fed, then I think that that's probably the best way. Now, there are a few other, sources out there we'll talk about at the end, like I said, that you could get a powder. And the powder doesn't taste bad. These powders are like practically tasteless, to add to whatever you'd like. There's also pill forms and whatnot. I just stopped myself because I was a vegetarian for so long. I still have trouble, consuming the proteins that I need from meat. But really the collagen gelatin factor makes so much sense and is so important. And as you get older, you will feel it in your body that your body is missing something if you're not getting this in your diet. So what's the difference with collagen and gelatin? Remember, they have virtually identical amino acid profiles, composition. The properties differ slightly due to the manufacturing processes, though. Gelatin is cooked collagen, and it's easier to absorb. It's also easier to digest. So I'd recommend using a gelatin form or collagen peptides, which is essentially hydrolyzed gelatin from heated collagen if you have GI issues. Many of us do. So collagen peptides are probably going to be easier to find for you than gelatin, especially a high quality supplement form. Now let's discuss the different types of collagen. So basically there's many types, but there are 3 types that have been put on the market that you'll see if you start looking for a supplement, and it's type 1, type 2, type 3. So the type 1 collagen is found in the skin, the hide, the tendons, scales, and bones of cows, pigs, chicken, and fish. The type 2 is formed in cartilage, typically derived from poultry. Type 3 is the fibrous protein found in the bone, tendon, cartilage, and connective tissues of cows, pigs, chicken, and fish. So, how do we choose the highest quality collagen to consume for all the benefits it offers? As we know, traditional diets from back in time are healthy as the food that we ate was in its whole form. Protein, intact with all the collagen as part of the protein from the animal, either eaten from the bones or better yet from the broth that they made. Broths are always best. That's what I learned in school. If you want to really get nutrients, you make a broth. A tea is a broth, right? You're soaking herbs and roots and making a tea to then drink as medicine. A vegetable broth, if you're vegetarian, you're, soaking vegetables and roots and herbs into a broth to then sip all those nutrients, the minerals, all that goodness. And it's very easy for your body to digest as well, right? So if you're sick, if you're not feeling well, broth is always best. So let me say this, as gross as it may sound to some of you that aren't big on animal eating, boiled, simmered, feet, bones, etc. is by far best alternatives to get the most collagen benefits, collagen and gelatin benefits that I've discussed here that will benefit you in so many ways. Better sleep, yes. Better movement, less pain, yes. Calmer well-being, more immune boosting function within the body for all sorts of reasons. Yes, yes, yes. If you're not going to make your own bone broth from animal bones and such, which I've honestly only done maybe twice in my life. And once was when I was a strict vegetarian and I was told by a naturopath, my daughter, who's just turning 25 this next week, she was 2 years old. And she has a different blood type. She's type O, which many of you may know that type O is more of the carnivorous type of blood. And they were the hunter-gatherers, out there getting the animals that they needed. And she's a type O, I'm a type A, so I do actually pretty well as a vegetarian. I have my own reasons I can go into another time. I talk about a little bit on my website, Conscious Choices for All, as to why I started incorporating animal protein into my diet about 10 years ago. So she was told by a naturopath, this is over 20 years ago, she wasn't told. I was told as her mother that she needed to get animal protein. She needed to get, bone broth, basically. It's some way of me to get that animal, those amino acids that she needed from the whole animal into her so she could heal, because she was getting sick. Her immune system, she was weak. She just wasn't as strong as she should have been, considering how well we ate. So I wanted her to get better, so I'm her mother. I'm going to do anything I can, even though it was way against my belief system. I actually made a bone broth. I was no expert at this or anything, but she kind of gave me instruction. And so I bought the whole chicken with the bones and everything. And I made this broth and gave it to her, but we didn't consume it. Myself and my other two children, my two boys, who are her older siblings. And, she consumed some for a few days and she actually got better. That was the only time I did that, though. As she got older, I think she rebelled, in her adolescent years into her teens, rebelled. I mean, kids will eat whatever their friends are eating. And she, experimented. Now she's actually a vegetarian again in her 20s by choice. But my point is that if you can do that, that is best. But if you're not going to make your own bone broth from the animal bones and such, then there are plenty of collagen and gelatin supplements out there now. Here we are in this day and age, especially from collagen. And the most important aspect of this goes back to quality. What's the cue of the source? Is it organic, or is it grass-fed, or even better, is it both organic and grass-fed? This is and should always be the question with any meat consumption. Why? Because if not, it could contain potentially hazardous contaminants that are typically associated with the concentrated animal food operations, or the CAFOs, such as heavy metals, chemicals like butyl parabens, and various prescription drugs, including antibiotics. Since we're making a conscious choice to be healthier, we want to make sure we're getting quality. And that means being aware of what's on the label, making sure that it's, a pure source. Making sure that the collagen supplement is certified 100% organic is awesome. If you can find that, that is the best way to go, especially with collagen. Like I say, with meat choices, I won't eat meat unless I know it's grass-fed and organic. I'm very, very particular about that. And I, knew 10 years ago when I was going to start consuming some animal protein in my diet, I was going to be very particular that it had to be high quality and the animal was going to be at least raised well, had a happy life. Maybe it didn't live as long as, a pet animal would, but that it wasn't, one of these poor cows that you see on the side of the highway. Or you just go to PETA's website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go to PETA.org and you will see what I'm talking about. If you can see what's happening out there, you won't want to eat anything but the highest quality animal protein. Now, 100% organic, grass-fed collagen supplements aren't honestly as easy as it sounds to find. That's why I say, the bone broth is going to be easier to find. Now, hopefully in the coming years, it will be easier to find these high quality supplements for collagen. I will share with you whatever I could find at the end of this. And I'll give you a few options in the show notes. Even better if it contains an AGA certification, which has most rigorous standards. Gelatin is even harder to find with these quality standards and is more expensive. So, collagen, remember, collagen, gelatin, pretty much the same thing. The peptides, you'll have more of the gelatin, but really it's the same. It's just if you have a really compromised GI tract and collagen you find is a little bit harder to digest, then you might want to try to find the gelatin or the collagen peptides. Okay, so choosing the collagen, since both collagen and gelatin provide virtually that identical protein profiles and biological benefits, and the collagen's easier to find and to afford. The only difference really is that the gelatin can be used to improve the texture and satisfying appeal of your food. Some people get it for that. They're not really looking at quality, but I haven't really, this isn't my forte. I haven't really needed that. Both are going to help your hair, skin, and nails to stay strong. The gelatin, like I said, is also easier to digest. I have noticed with a few collagen powders that my digestion isn't completely taxed, but I feel like it's having like some sort of issue in my digestion. So I am still experimenting, let's say. But now, if I eat it in its purest form of a bone broth, I have no issues at all. So that's my feedback on that so far. And they both really do improve your health. And you just need to choose whichever one you think works for you. Choice. Yay. We all have the choice. And thank God for that. Non-organic collagen is almost always made from hydrolyzed cattle hides. Remember that, not the bones. So if you don't know if it's organic, do a little bit more research. There's a lot of brands out there that are just using the hides. And organic or not, hides are scraps from the leather tannery industry, which has undergone intense processing with harsh chemicals. More info in the show notes. I will put a link to trying to find a good source of reading more into that if you'd like. The bottom line is that the natural approach is best. Making your own collagen gelatin bone broth with chicken feet from free-range, organically raised chickens is super rich in collagen. The alternative would be bovine bones, immensely rich in minerals. Remember, consume a third of your protein from collagen to get the proper ratio of your amino acid profile and reap all the possible benefits. An easy alternative to medications for chronic diseases like obesity and diabetes, heart disease, sleep disorders, and more, all caused by imbalances of amino acids and chronic inflammation. So you may be wondering, are there vegetarian sources to build collagen in the body? This is something I wanted to look into and make a segment segueing away from the animal one about collagen, which, yes, makes a lot of sense. But if you're like me and it's hard for you to think about ingesting or have strong beliefs around ingesting animals for various valid reasons, then I'd like to say I'm someone that says there's always an alternative. We just are living in abundance of many alternatives and choices. So that is a huge blessing for most of us, especially living in the Western world. I'm going to go over ways that we can build collagen in the body from plant sources, building your supply by consuming a combination of amino acids from plant proteins and botanical extracts combined, which is what these companies that you'll find are doing. And it's excellent. It's abundance at your fingertips, right? Just look it up. You can find just about anything out there. So I've done some research and found some good quality ones that I'll share with you at the end. So combining amino acid profiles from plant proteins, also with botanical extracts that have been shown to hydrate the skin and influence the body's ability to build collagen. Some of this is done by high sources of vitamin C and other antioxidants. Vitamin C has always been a key antioxidant vitamin that does so many things in the body, but one thing that it does is it helps collagen synthesis. So without vitamin C or enough of it, your body wouldn't be able to produce enough collagen, or maybe as much as you would want, or especially as you get older. It's definitely super important to have. Now, we don't want to be consuming lots of sugary fruits that have vitamin C. There's lots of fruits that are higher in vitamin C that contain little sugar, And those are the ones that I will mention and that are in supplement form in these products. So when we're using a vegetarian alternative, it needs to be done the right way by blending different nutrients, creating the support needed to create collagen production with the connective tissue. And these nutrients are also supporting healthy circulation and blood vessel integrity, which goes hand in hand with healthy collagen synthesis and skin elasticity. So let's go over more details on how to provide elements that your body needs to support the body's natural ability to produce collagen from plant nutrients. Vitamin C is a key antioxidant protecting skin tissue from oxidative stress caused by cell-damaging free radicals in our environment. Also stimulates collagen production. So always start with a quality C supplement. Whole foods are awesome, but too much sugar, again, from too many fruits is not something that we want to consume, and we want to be aware of our sugar intake. Other antioxidants that are vitamins that also provide protection against free radicals that cause damage to our cells everywhere in our body, including our skin, would be vitamins A and E. So the ACE vitamins, A, C, and E, are our key antioxidant vitamins that we need to make sure we're consuming good amounts. Now, A and E are fat soluble, so you can overdose on those, but most of us aren't getting enough. Now, C is something that's water soluble, and you don't have to worry about consuming too much C. But A, C, and E are very vital. Those are our key antioxidant vitamins that will help cellular protection, help our skin to fight free radicals within our cells, which also keeps our skin healthy and all of our cells in our body healthy. Acai and acerola cherry are also real key antioxidants, having a lot of power in the body to overcome oxidative stress. And let's go back to talking about building our collagen. So some nutrients that do that would be helpful would be hyaluronic acid, which has been very popular in the last several years. It's found throughout the body, playing a key part in hydrating our skin, eyes, and our joints. Studies are showing improvement in skin hydration, texture, and elasticity, reducing the appearance of wrinkles, supporting wound healing, treating dry eyes, acid reflux, and osteoarthritis. I will discuss more on this amazing nutrient and foods that boost production of it in a future podcast. But I will say that hyaluronic acid is found naturally in bone broth collagen. So what are some other rich superfoods that can help us build our collagen? One is sea buckthorn berries. They are loaded in antioxidants, including all of the ACE, A, C, and E antioxidant vitamins, as well as D. Rich in fatty acids, including omega-3 and especially omega-6, not omega-6, I'm sorry, omega-7. There is some omega-6, but very rich in omega-7, which is a unique omega that is very, very good for many things in the body. It helps construct our skin's surface layers, enabling effective hydration, laying out foundation for gorgeously hydrated and fortified skin. Yay! According to wildling.com's blog on sea buckthorn, applied topically, it's seen to help with collagen synthesis. This makes absolute sense since it's so rich in vitamin C and other antioxidants. Aloe vera, used for healing and soothing inside and out, increases collagen by stimulating cell growth. Studies suggest that the plant sterols in aloe may increase collagen and hyaluronic acid in the skin cells, increasing skin hydration, reducing appearance of wrinkles and increasing the skin elasticity. Silica, which is one of the most abundant minerals on Earth, is essential for structural health of our bones, our teeth, our joints, our skin, our eyes, various parts of the body. And it's very, very rich in bamboo, also in horsetail. So there are companies that are using the bamboo, maybe because it's more readily available. I know it grows really fast and it is pretty sustainable. So bamboo or horsetail sources of silica would be the richest I would recommend for natural source. And silica helps increase the skin's elasticity and flexibility through the impact of collagen matrix in the skin. Studies suggest that silica's impact on the hydroxylation enzymes may be how the silica helps to improve the integrity of collagen in the skin. A few other nutrients I'm going to mention here, one being naringenin, which is a flavonoid found in various foods, especially in citrus, oranges. I always think of and like to share that the white part on citrus inside the skin in oranges that a lot of people, don't try to eat, but it's very good to eat that because that's where all the bioflavonoids are. And there's various different ones that are very, very helpful. And this is probably one of them since it's a flavonoid in that group called naringenin. And it's also abundant in tomatoes and figs, but I believe mostly in citrus and probably in that white pithy part. And what this flavonoid does is it blocks the hyaluronidase activity, which is an enzyme responsible for the breakdown of hyaluronic acids. Seaweed and algae are also very important to incorporate into your diet since they are mineral rich, very, very mineral rich foods that will help support hydration and pushing any kind of, water, aloe, any kind of, hydration into the body. We need to have minerals to actually push the, liquid that we're putting into our body to hydrate it. Because if we're drinking water that's like reverse osmosis or distilled, that's, just really doesn't have minerals in it anymore, then that's good. It's pure, but and it can do some benefit, but it's not really hydrating. We have to have minerals to really push that liquid and hydrate into our cells, into our body to, get the nutrients in where they need to go. Thank you for joining me today. I know we covered a lot. I will do a podcast next week, hopefully be putting one out there every week on a different, interesting, healthy topic. Next week will be on cannabis. Stay tuned. Please leave me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. I would greatly appreciate it. Blessings to you and all of your family.